On this week's episode of the HnK Video Game Experience, we are going to give you a bit of a retrospective on Halo 3. Also go into our first impressions of the new Star Wars movie. Of course, Battlefront 2 and loot boxes will also be discussed. We will also be joined by a special guest this week, Revelation, the old school Halo killer, who will provide his perspective on the Halo series. So just sit back, relax, and enjoy our Halo 3 episode. Alright, so Hollywood Cole is back here with Clearfire and the other guest that we have today, Revelation. And I don't even remember the last three. What you got? What is it, Revelation?
617.
Revelations617 PlayStation handle. So we'll call him Rev on here. So anyway, welcome back, and we are going to talk today about Halo 3. We wanted to kind of get a little bit more modern. We've been doing a lot of retro, which is always a lot of fun. That's my favorite. But this is a unique one for me, and I'll kind of get into it about why. Because it's pretty much just, I was kind of, if you know me, then you've known that I've been in video games my whole life. Same way with Drew, same way with Rev, same way with Clear. We've all played together for a long time. But so you've known I've always been in games. I'm doing a video game podcast now, so obviously I like them. So for me to say that I did not keep up with the game consoles or the new games at some point in my life is probably hard for some people to believe. But at this point, I did not. I did not have an Xbox. I did not have an Xbox 360 when it came out. I didn't even keep up with any of that. But I was still playing games, don't get me wrong, but that was during the WoW days. And that's when me and Rev got into WoW real hard. And that was probably in Clearfire's dark days, but
it wasn't completely in my dark days because I did have an Xbox. I did have a 360 because I played. I was big into the Knights of the Old Republic, Knights of the Old Republic 2. I played those religiously. I played every different which.
Oh, you had a regular Xbox too, yeah. You had a regular
Xbox.
I didn't know that. I actually bought the Knights of the Old Republic, and it's a great. It is. I started playing it. I hadn't finished it or even got
fantastic
too far
game.
But
I beat it both different ways. There's like 4 or 5 different ways you can play it. It's fun. It's a lot blast. But
I was playing WoW at the time, and I was playing Socom 2 on PS2, and that's all I cared about. And as I mentioned before, the Deacon on Socom 2. So if anybody that knew the Deacon, hit me up, and we'll play some Call of Duty or something. But anyway, that's what I was into, and I'll tell you how I found out about Halo 3 when we get to talking about it. But Drew never played Halo 3, right?
Nope, never played it. Well, no, I don't say I never played it. I played it, but it was always on somebody else. I never owned it.
Oh, okay. He never.
Let me put it this way: Halo 1 I owned 2 copies. Halo 2 I owned 3 copies.
And I've never known you to own more than 1 copy of any game.
It's because I wore them out. 2 out of the 3 don't work.
Oh my gosh! I spun that disc around too many spins. Yeah. But yeah, so
too many beat.
Yeah, Rev's always been the killer, and we still play this day on Call of Duty. We've played on GTA 5. He's always at the top of the leaderboards, right under me, pretty much most of the time. But so he's a killer. I asked him if he wants to be on here, man, and he said he would because he knows a lot more about the first 2 than I do, and I never played them. But I didn't know you had an Xbox, Clear. So you probably did you have Halo?
I did, and I burned it.
You burned it?
Literally burned it.
Why?
I hated it.
Oh my gosh, we're gonna have a lot to talk about.
You're gonna have fun with this one.
So anyway, we'll get into the review here in a minute, but just like always, what's in the news, man?
So in the news, first I want to start it off with one big thing that is going to bring some nostalgia back for both me and Hollywood, and I think Rev knows a little bit about it too as well. Nintendo just announced that Nintendo Power is making a return. They are coming
Yes,
back
sir.
as a podcast, which, I mean, of course, in a way that's quote-unquote competition to us, but they're pretty much going to be focusing on Nintendo, so we're not worried about that anyway. But, you know, for the nostalgia purposes, though, to have Nintendo Power come back in any form, any shape or form, I think is a great thing, especially for Nintendo. It'll help boost their rep and help boost their sales, which they really need because they do put out some great stuff, especially for, you know, the three of us. We all have kids, and they basically are they hold the market for kid-friendly stuff. So, I mean, it's great that they have that and that's coming out. I think it's going to be a really interesting twist on Nintendo Power, but, you know, it's going to be out in podcast form. So, yeah, it will be our competitor, but, you know, I ain't worried about it. It's Nintendo. We can take them.
I wonder if I subscribe, they'll send me a copy of the new Dragon Quest on Switch. That'd be awesome. I think it's kind of caught on a little bit more now.
So
but yeah, that's a pretty cool thing. I mean, I love Nintendo Power back in the day, and it'd be interesting to see how they do, you know, with the Nintendo news. And I've got a Twitter account that I never check, but, you know, it's just you're supposed to have one. But
which we got to remedy that.
Yeah, I try to check it. But anyway, it's got Nintendo. I follow Nintendo news or whatever, and man, they are posting something like every hour, and it's just overwhelming. So. Yeah.
Well,
I guess a podcast form would be a lot better to hear instead of just try to read everything.
And for our listeners, we're on a cycle of posting 3 times a day. I put that as our Facebook post and our Twitter post. They come out 3 times a day. So if you want to follow us, all you got to do is watch around those 3 specific times of day, and you'll be able to catch all of the news that we put out.
Every once in a while, I'll drop one though.
Yeah, every once in a while you'll see Hollywood put something in there.
Final Fight. Sega CD, that's me.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Talking about the backhand of the guy, you see it, he throws his punch like that.
I love that. That was awesome. So,
this is very first punch, right upside. Wow.
So I love it. Another good piece in the news too is we're going to get back on these loot boxes. That's still running pretty hard and heavy in the news. People are still trying to make decisions on it, and it looks like another country has come out and said how they feel about loot boxes, and this time it's New Zealand. New Zealand has come out and said that loot boxes are not gambling. So they have said it's not gambling. It is, however, not the best thing, but it is. It is not. They don't consider it gambling. So they don't have a clear consensus over there in New Zealand about it, but they have definitely said, and I know I've just said this like 4 times already, but I'm gonna say it again so everybody understands. They consider it not gambling in New Zealand. So that's kind of another twist in the whole loot box saga that's going on right now. Because you do still have some countries and some places that do consider it gambling. And in my terms, I think it is gambling because you're paying money for something random that you don't know what you're going to get. And that's gambling in essence. Because if you go drop a coin in a slot machine, you don't know if you're going to get a coin back, or you get a whole bunch of coins back, or get nothing back. So, I mean, to me, that's gambling. You know, you're putting physical money in to get something back, whether it's physical or not. I mean, even if it's digital, to me, that's still physical.
Well, it is, because
that's something that you paid for.
You pay money, let's say $2 a box, all right? And you get a common card, okay? And then you play again $2 a box, and then you get an epic card. So, are they both worth the same amount? Right? They're not. Right. So that's what you're gambling. You're paying $2 to maybe get a card worth, you know, I don't know, whatever. It's obviously worth whatever somebody would pay for. But since you can't do that, 50 cents, I'm just throwing a number out there, or an epic card that somebody would have probably paid $10 for. You just had to keep rolling the dice. So absolutely gambling.
Well, I mean, it's the same way with Destiny 2 and their whole Dawning. Because everybody right now in Destiny 2 is, you know, they're all, you know, swooning over the Dawning armor. If you hadn't checked it out, it actually is the best looking armor in Destiny 2 right now is the Dawning armor. It looks really great, really sleek, has this like futuristic metallic look to it. Everybody likes it. Everybody's trying to get it. Some people are paying out the yin yang to try to get that armor because the only way you can get that armor is through the Dawning treasures, and you can only earn so many a day, a week, and
oh my gosh.
You only have 3 weeks to get it all because it's from now until I think the
Destiny's just sitting there like
January,
like Smithers, you know, right into my trap.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's just paying into that.
Mr. Burns, yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Burns is another.
I see Mr. Burns doing the little finger things. And
Right
they're counting all
into-
that money. That's
right
just going,
into my trap. Everybody's paying off the yang.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like Call of Duty. I mean, I'm just gonna throw in a quick thing.
No, because Call of Duty, you don't have to at all. You get grips, and that's a whole nother. Grips is the most worthless thing you can get.
Just the greatness of what I get. I say, man, I got this. I did all this killing. I had like a 5.0 kill death ratio or something. I come out and I got this award. I won this random loot box. So I go out there and get excited. Man, just say, I want everybody to come over. I'm like, hey, Hollywood,
I wait for everybody to gather around.
Yeah, dead aim. Come get on the other side, man. Let's all look at this, And all these people come and gather, and I drop it. Boom! Here it is. I get this awesome. It's a pistol grip, and it's got like a deer.
90-something
And I'm like,
percent
dude,
of them are pistol grips.
This is so great. So I equip it, immediately, and I go into the next match. And
Everybody's looking
I
at
go
it.
back and I watch the video on the kill cam, and I look, and my hand's covering the grip.
But everybody's trying to see it.
You can't even see.
All you can see is the top of the gun. I'm like, dude, I will buy the next one. Where can I put my money in immediately?
I can't wait to get that epic grip so everybody will be seeing
Oh
it.
my gosh!
See it. You see it when it's in your holster, don't you? I don't know.
Yeah,
I need to look for. I should start looking for those grips. That's all I can.
I'm gonna start looking at yours when you run.
Yeah.
We'll just see if we can check
This
that
is
out.
Hilarious.
That's my opinion of it.
But we both bought Clear and me. We bought the Battlefront 2 was on sale, and I
we
picked it
just
up
got
on
it.
digital because I thought all this loot box drama had kind of settled. But man, and then if you've played it enough, just like me, you get stuff out of there that changes your whole play style, or
Yeah.
your better grenades and all kind of stuff like that.
You don't even have to play the game for 5 minutes. When
Yeah.
you first start it up, the first thing you get is a package of loot boxes. And so
Yeah.
you're opening up these loot boxes and like, oh, what did I get? What did I get? Because they have that little blinging light there. Every time you see those little yellow or red numbers, I know when I see it on my phone, it's like, oh my gosh, I've got to get that cleared off real quick. And it definitely makes you want to go look and see what in the world you got. So, you start the game off opening loot boxes, and like Hollywood said, if it hits right, it could be a game changer from the beginning, and it could just change the whole game for you. That's all.
They
I
just
can say
got
about
better.
it,
They got
it's just
your-
frustrating.
So you take damage just like Call of Duty, but so it's not a one-hit kill, but you take damage and then it has to recharge. Well, there's stuff that gives you like 40% recharge rate faster. Yep. Grenades are stronger. Your various tricks and stuff that you can do, special skills will be stronger. There's nothing that I saw that your blaster's more powerful, but there's one that you can shoot your blaster before it has to cool down longer.
I got a stronger blaster.
Yeah, and stuff like that. And it's like,
just-
what happened? All this talk in the news, and there's hardly any. It must have been real bad because it's still kind of bad.
It's bad, but it's not anything like what the news was saying. So go out, grab the game, play it. It's supposed to be pretty fun. I've only gotten to the part where I'm escaping off of indoor and I'm flying around in a TIE fighter. That's as far as I've gotten in it. I played it for like 10 minutes, it felt like.
Did you play? I only played multiplayer. I didn't play.
I'm playing the campaign. I started on the campaign.
So multiplayer, it's hard, man. And I remember why I play Call of Duty over these types of games like the Battlefronts and Battlefields and stuff, because it's just so large, and you're having to run to catch up to the battle, and you get sniped from across the map or something. It's just it's so, I don't even know what's going on, And we were in that scene. This is a scene from we won't get into any spoilers. We're going to talk about the new Star Wars, but we won't get into any spoilers. But there's a scene in that one where the walkers are walking on the desert, and there's a big I don't want to talk about where it is in the movie, but
well, you've probably
are
seen
in
the
Assault.
trailers
In Assault,
because it's on the planet Crate. It's the new planet that's there. If you've watched any of the trailers, you've seen any of the trailers, you know what we're talking about, because it's there. It's the planet that basically is covered. It looks like snow, but it turns out to be salt, and it throws up that red dust. Looks really cool in the trailers. So
I'm on that one, and we're the stormtroopers, and there's a trench in there behind all the walkers or with the walkers, and you can't even pick your head up, and you're getting like sniped, and you're like, dude, where do I even go? There's no way to get. I gotta go over the top of it. Anyway, whatever. So I started playing the small battle There's like a 20-man, and it's a smaller, kind of like more like a Call of Duty. And people hate on Call of Duty because you don't have to think. And that's exactly why I like it, because you just run around and hawk people or whatever, and that's my favorite thing about it. Which, by the way, I went like 23-9 with throwing knives the other day and got MVP. It was awesome. I know I was making people mad. I got like 5. I got the bloodthirsty a couple times. I had to record that one, but anyway. But I like Call of Duty, and the Battlefront's okay. It's not bad. I just got to get better at it. Yeah, I had fun with it. So
yeah,
it definitely looks good and sounds good, no doubt.
It looks like it's going to be a fun overall game to play. I'm going to go through the campaign just so I can get enough stuff and geared up so whenever I go play the multiplayer, I can survive. Because I'm not a multiplayer player like these two are. Give me some campaigns and I can go wreak havoc in a campaign. I can drag these two through a campaign easy. So that's where I strive. That's where I strive the most in.
So you saw the new Star Wars the day it came out, right, or the night before, or whatever? I
went the day of. That's yearly date me and my wife do. We watch Star Wars movies since they've been coming out since the new one. So we watched Force Awakens, we watched Rogue One, and then we watched this one. So that's we get the kid off somewhere and we go watch these movies. So.
And Rev, you hadn't seen it?
No.
I like
the old ones, but I'm just a killer.
the old ones being like episode 4, 5, and 6, or the old ones included in episode 1, 2, and 3.
Like Harrison Ford, original.
Okay. Harrison Ford's in Force Awakens.
He's in the new one.
Yeah. And they're going to do May. This May is when the Solo movie drops too.
Yeah, so that's good. I thought they were doing the Solo movie. Somebody had said they were doing something else.
It's already done. It's in post production right now.
Oh man, it's going to be good.
Dropping end of May, I think. I think it actually drops on my birthday. So.
I was real excited to see it. I saw it Monday, I believe. Yeah, I saw it Monday during the day. It's about 6 people in the theater. I loved it. So, what did you think about it? Did you like it?
All right, so
no spoilers, by the way. So sorry,
I won't do any spoilers. So, did I like the movie? Of course, I liked it. It's Star Wars. It was great. The issue I have with it is if you go back and watch 4, 5, and 6, all the jokes, everything in 4, 5, and 6 is timeless. And it doesn't matter when you watch it. It doesn't matter if you're 5 or 35 or 95. You get all the jokes. You get everything in it. It's a simplistic movie, but yet it's very detailed in all that it's trying to do. So it's got a great story. Force Awakens to follow that same line. It had a lot of timeless stuff in it, stuff that didn't really relate to now. Well, I felt like in Episode 8 that they forced a lot of the comedy, and the comedy was more toward millennials and to now, versus trying to make it a timeless movie and something that will carry on throughout generations. So that's where I had my beef with it. I think it was a good movie. I think there's some parts that could have been done better, of course, but I feel like it wasn't a movie that was designed to be timeless and to carry out throughout generations, and so it fits for other people. That's my biggest beef with it. Other than that,
so you think it's just kind of fits in for today? You don't think it's going to really be going on for long?
I mean, I think it'll go on for a long time, but I think when people watch it, let's say when my son's kids watch this one, they're not going to get the references of some of the jokes in there like my son will. You know, he'll get the references because he's kind of the time and everything, and they might be a little kind of like, you know, he might look at me and like, Dad, what do they mean by that? You know, that's the kind of thing I mean, because like if you watch Star Wars 4, 5, and 6, there's not a place in there that you look up to somebody else and say, what do they mean by that? You know, of course, you know, granted, for most of us, you know, the Star Wars falls within our timeline, you know, in our lifeline, because, you know, most of us we might not have been old enough to know it, but we at least, you know, were able to, you know, we when we saw it and we got it, so.
Yeah.
And that's just my kind of thing with it is, I think Rian Johnson tried a little too hard to force the comedy in it, and that was my biggest thing with it.
Yeah. Where would you rank it within all the other ones? What's your favorite one?
My favorite one would have to either be... no, I'm going to have to just go with 6. 6 was probably my favorite.
Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, I love Return of the Jedi. I loved the Rancor fight. I loved all of that. I loved seeing Luke come out and just totally awesome and confident in his power, confident in his strength. That was really kind of uplifting for me. And it kind of hit home for me because if you watch, it kind of seemed like, if you watch 4, 5, and 6 back to back to back, it kind of seemed like Luke was a little nerdy guy, really didn't have much going for him. And then Obi-Wan was like, oh yeah, by the way, you're this super cool guy that's going to like save our universe one day. You know, and to see that grow, that kind of hit home with me, not for the fact that I'm a super cool guy now, but just for the fact that, you know, I was that nerdy kind of guy, didn't really have much going for me, I felt like growing up and everything, so that just kind of hit home for me, and then to get to see the finished product was awesome, because I was little when I was young when I saw the finished product, so it just kind of, you know, to me that struck a chord with me, and I really enjoyed that part and seeing that. And just watching the end, seeing how the characters evolved all the way to that point, that was an awesome one. I'd have to say that 5 was my next favorite. And then actually, to throw a little bit of a curveball, is I would say that number 3 would probably actually fit before 4. 3 just because
really?
It was really, yeah, just 3 was cool because you actually get to see the full turn of Anakin to Vader, and I really thought that was a really interesting part going in there. So, and then having that go on, I think that was a really cool conflict, seeing that conflict in them. Now, granted, I don't feel like 1, 2, and 3 had the strength and power that 4, 5, and 6 did. But yeah, I mean, right now 8 would fall, above 1 and 2, probably below A New Hope for me. I think that Force Awakens would actually probably fall somewhere like close to 5 and 6 for me, because I really loved New Hope. I felt like New Hope actually brought a New Hope, or not New Hope, I'm sorry, Force Awakens. I felt like Force Awakens brought a New Hope to Star Wars, that it gave a refresh to it and let everybody know that Star Wars isn't, you know, just these movies and all that. It's so much more, you know, because that's the first one that Disney really just blew up with. So
yeah, that's cool, man. That's probably exactly like mine for the most part. I think Empire, it's always between Empire, I don't know, I like the New Hope, Empire. It's certainly one of the old ones are my top 3, no doubt. Mm-hmm. It's just depending on the order you wanted. And I think Return of the Jedi would be probably the 3rd, and then I like Revenge of the Sith, and then probably the Force Awakens, and then this one. So anyway, that was just interesting. You know, I wanted to see what you thought about that, because I kind of got the same thing. It was entertaining, like, you know, like they say, a popcorn action movie deal. So anyway, since Rev's never seen it, I'll just let him do it, unless you want to rank your favorite ones.
I can't even remember the titles of the ones I watched.
I'm just a killer.
I'm just a killer. I don't even watch the videos.
Well, he's definitely not y'all are definitely not as big a Star Wars geek as I am. You should see my desk at work. I've got a 3D puzzle of R2-D2 sitting on top of it. I've got do I have? Yeah, I think half of my pop collection is Star Wars.
Well, I do have to say this, man, and I'll probably get some heat from it, but that has to be said. And I'm not some super big film guy. I did go to film school. I got a degree in film, whatever. I just did a little bit of TV commercials, whatever. But you don't have to be that any kind of film to know or to make this statement. But I think George Lucas is one of the most overrated directors of all time, and I say that because when he had the opportunity to go back and do his own movies, they flopped any way that he wanted to with all the money in the world. They were terrible. Besides Revenge of the Sith, but again in Revenge of the Sith, he was kind of hamstrung into having to keep everything within this box because he had to answer all the questions for 4, 5, and 6. So, and one of the other reasons why I say this is because this is a big deal. The Han shoots first scenario. So if you don't know, in the old ones, they're sitting in the cantina. The very first movie, the first time you ever see Han, and he's talking to Guido or somebody.
Yeah, Greedo.
Guido's been sent by Jabba the Hutt to find him, to bounty hunt him. And he's a smuggler. Han Solo is a smuggler, and so Han Solo says something cool, and boom, has this blaster hidden under the table, blasts Guido before he gets killed. It's awesome. Well, George Lucas goes back and makes Guido shoot first. So what is the big deal about that? It's because they want Han Solo to be a good guy. But this is filmmaking 101 here. You got a brand new character, Han Solo. The whole point about this character, again, he's a smuggler. Bounty hunters are after him. He's on the run. You don't know if he's a good guy or a bad guy. You don't know if he's in it for the money. That's the whole first movie. Leia even says, "Oh, all your friend cares about is money," and he's quite the mercenary. And she even tells Han, if all you care about is money, yes, you'll get your reward, that kind of stuff. So you don't know if he's a good guy or a bad guy, but then his character develops and he turns into a guy that's a friendly guy. And he likes his friends, and then he's part of the whole thing in the Carbonite when she says, "I love you," and he says, "I know." Stuff like that. He's just a cool, smug. He's like he's a mysterious guy, but now you're trying to make him hamstrung into being a good guy.
Well, I mean, he's the classic anti-hero. I mean, he fits that perfectly, and that was before the term anti-hero came up when he did that in the movie. But he fits the perfect quintessential anti-hero mold. He is for himself until he realizes that he has more in friendship than he does in gold.
Right.
And it takes him 2 movies to figure that out, because even in the second movie, there's which is number 5, you still see lots of pieces in there that he's still for himself in there, because he's actually having in a way a battle with Luke for Leia's affection, which eventually you find out that Leia is Luke's brother, is Luke's sister, and then it just gets weird at that point. So,
well, see, that's what I'm saying. That's exactly my point. So why would you have Han shoot first? You go back through all that trouble. Whatever. That is, you just destroyed part of his psyche, part of his mysteriousness.
It's all because Lucas got CG happy.
Yes, I mean that's
CG
a
happy. He
crazy thing to get happy on.
He tore
really jacked it up.
He tore up the first 3 movies by putting too much CG in it. I remember when they re-released the movies, I was like, oh, this will be awesome. And then when I saw Jabba, I was like, oh my god, no, that's terrible.
Yeah, terrible. Well, they had to do him a special way because they did have a character stand in for him and make him step on a tail and all this crap. So they had to cover that character as a human being, a real big guy with a bunch of fur.
It was just so terrible, though. It was just, yeah.
Well, and here's another reason why I say that about George. And he's got billions of dollars. He obviously did something right. What can I possibly say that he's obviously considered one of the best ones? But from a filmmaking perspective, I think it's terrible. But I meant to find the guy's name, but I cannot remember his name because I was thinking about this. But somebody that he was doing the movies with, it was either a director, cinematographer, or a writer, I can't remember. But he had an argument with George and said, look this up. And he told George Lucas, he said, people like the original Star Wars because of the story. Mm-hmm. And George says, no, they do not. He said that. No, they do not like it because of the story. They like it because of the CGI, because of the special effects, because of all that. Yeah, right, dude. You are considering yourself a director, which, how can I say he's not? He's making billions. But, the point is, dude, you're so off. And so you went back and did all that CGI garbage in 1 and 2. And I don't even remember 2. I mean, and 1's just kind of like, you remember that because, me and you went to see that twice.
Yep.
And just because it was the new Star Wars, it's been, it had been decades or something till the new one had been released. But anyway, man, I just had to get that off my chest because that's why everybody's so upset about. And there's a movie out called The People Hate George Lucas or something like that, yeah. And it goes into that because it's just like, dude, you got a chance to do it.
Just try to.
But anyway, man, yeah, whatever the case. But he's out of the business now as far as Star Wars goes. So we'll see how.
No more. He doesn't even have. He has very little say in the Star Wars now. He's They use him as a reference since he's the one that created the whole galaxy universe in his head. They talk to him and say, hey, would this be happening in your universe? And he'd say yes or no. And that's really about the extent he has now. Yeah. It's just he's used as a reference. So,
all right, well, cool. So we'll go ahead and jump into. We're about halfway through, man. So we'll go ahead and jump into some Halo. So Halo 3. So this is like I was talking about earlier in the podcast. This is right in my WoW days, World of Warcraft days, and Socom 2. Those are the only 2 games I needed if I wanted to go shoot some stuff up, do a little killing. I got on Socom 2. If I wanted to do a little RPG, and I got on WoW, and that's all I knew about it. And I was actually just getting in the military at the time.
Yep.
And we had all come up on some money, and I was making money now as in the military. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so rich. I wasn't making any kind of money like that before that. And so we all got together, me and a few buddies, and said, let's go get an Xbox 360 and Halo because I've seen one of them play at Blair at his house. I said, what is this, you know? And he's like, oh, this is the new Halo. And I said, okay, and it looked real good. So we went all bought it and all played together, and that got me hooked on it. And I personally, that's my first experience with Halo. I actually played some in Full Sail multiplayer, but I didn't really care for it at that point, kind of like you did, Clear, probably. And
oh no,
but
not like I promise.
But but I like that Halo 3. I really enjoyed that campaign and everything. So yeah, you keep throwing some hate out to it, man. We got to hear this. This has got to be good.
I don't know if it's good, but it's dirty. It's dirty. So
go ahead.
My first experience with Halo, I remember this, and my little brother, he's a Halo fanatic. He plays it like crazy. If he jumped on it, he was always, high up on the leaderboards. He was, him and some buddies actually were in a clan that were in the top 200 in the world. So they were actually really good at it, played it a lot. Basically, they just sat in their bedrooms and played it all day long and skipped school and everything.
Halo 3?
And all Halos, like they did it to every Halo. Halo 3, they were in
Halo
3, they were in college. But my first experience was Halo.
Well, Drew, which one went online, though? Halo 3 is the first one that went online, right? Everything else
Halo 2, yeah. Okay. Halo 2 was the one that they started on, and they went, all crazy with it. But my first experience with Halo was I went over to visit a friend of mine that was going to school in Hattiesburg, and I was at Jones at the time, and I went to go visit them and hang out with them because I hadn't seen them in a while. There were some church buddies, so I went and go hang out with them, and they were all into Halo, so they plug up their Xbox and they start playing Halo, and I'm like, what is this Space Odyssey crap? Literally, that's what I said. And they're so they're playing it and everything, and I'm like, well, let me give this a try. And I start playing it with them.
Jules Verne.
I'm like, I don't want to shoot no space guns. It's almost like my whole thing of talking about the space wizards and space magic in Destiny.
And you're a warlock.
Exactly. Well, the funny thing is in Destiny is if I don't ever use my super, 90% of the guns act like a real gun would. Like they shoot what would be real bullets, except for in Destiny 2 you start having the trace guns and stuff like that. But, for the most part, they react like a real gun, and that's what I like about Destiny. It's more of a realistic gun type scenario. Well, when Halo was coming out, Halo 2, Halo 3, and all of that, they had a lot of space guns. They had the one that I remember was the Needler. And that gun to me was like
awesome.
It seemed like everybody loved it, but I thought it was the most ridiculous gun ever. I'm like, why do I want to shoot a gun that does this? I need a gun that just goes pew pew pew, and that's all I need. Because I'm still back in the Socom days, stuck with that. Because I played Socom 1 and 2 as well, and I was like, man, I loved it because it was military tactics, and that's what I liked about that game, about Socom. So it was like that.
That was awesome.
And then when you get to Halo, it's just like, die, die, die. That's basically the tactic was. Kill everybody and kill everything. So it's definitely up Rev's alley because he's a killer. So he's just like, let me get out there and kill. That's what I do. I'm a killer. So so for me, it just didn't strike it struck a chord with me being a space game. And then of course you did have multiplayer on Halo 1, but it was all local. It wasn't online, and that's where I played the first multiplayer thing there.
Yeah.
And I just did not like it. I mean, it might have been for the fact that I had never played it, and I'm playing with these guys that have been playing it for months and months already, and I was just getting slaughtered. But it just never registered with me. And then I remember a time that I went to my brother's dorm when he was at EC, and they were definitely playing Halo 3 at the time. And he's like, hey, play this, man. You were really good at SOCOM and all that. You should be able to jump into it. I jumped into it. And I'm like, what is this crazy crap where you flying through the air? I mean, I felt like I was Superman playing the game because you're just flying around and, you could...
What do you mean they come back when you die?
I mean, it's like...
The SOCOM, you die.
Yeah, SOCOM, when you're dead, you're dead. You don't come back. There is no revives. There is no res.
Talk to all the other dead people.
You're dead, And you're cracking up with the other team and making jokes, and then you end up...
They got a shield?
I mean, it's just ridiculous. So to me, it was just... I couldn't fathom the idea of shields, of revives, res, and everything like that. I was so stuck in my head about SOCOM and the way I played SOCOM that this just didn't make any sense to me. And even to this day, I still haven't gone back and play Halo. I have no desire to play Halo, even though I do like Destiny, and Destiny is made by the same people that actually created Halo. I feel like that, with Destiny, it's not the same as Halo for the fact of a lot of the weapon.
No, it's not.
It's a different ball game, and just boo Halo, boo.
I can see where you're coming from, though. Believe it or not, because I was the same way when I very first played Halo 1. Because I was deep into Socom, and that's right when Socom 2 came out, right around that time. Then you go and play Halo. I was like, dude, that's funny you said that, because that's the exact same way I felt about it too. Like, dude, I'm used to shooting people when they die.
Yeah,
I don't mean shoot them. I sneak up on them, do the perfect tactic and all this, and get behind them, and they just turn around and kill me. And I'm like, that ain't the world I grew up in.
Exactly.
I got the smartest strategies. The ones that win the day, not the fast twitch muscle killers.
If one bullet in SOCOM, whether it was from a pistol or whatever, one bullet in the head killed you. It was a kill shot. It didn't matter what it was. It almost didn't matter distance if you were good enough. But that one shot in the head, you were dead. Because that's how I played. I was running around.
If you played pistols,
I forget the name of the pistol.
With no shields, you could do it.
Yeah, I forget the name of the pistol.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You could get headshots, one shots with that, and it was without shields. And
you had to set the game that way. You couldn't just go in and play the game. You couldn't just go normal mode and do that. In SOCOM, normal mode is you shot, you dead. If you get shot in the chest, you can survive that shot. But if you get shot in the head, it's gone.
You got shot in the toe with a sniper rifle, you would die.
Sometimes, you had some glitches like that, and it happened.
So, Rev, shed some light on this with some old school Halo.
All right, I started playing Halo a long time ago. back when, in the younger days. But twins had it, went over there. I had no clue. I'm like y'all, same thing. Like, this is crazy. But then I saw the first headshot, and I said, this is it. This is for me. Right here. So we sat immediately, got down, got John on there, and I bet we spent every night playing. So that was Halo.
In college, or is that?
No, this is before college.
This is a neighborhood?
And this is in the hood. And then, I don't know what that had been, high school.
It would have been high school for y'all.
I was gone.
Yeah, because we were both gone at the time, and Matthew was, my little brother, he was junior high when Halo 1 dropped.
That's probably about right. So I would have been right before I go into East Central, because when I went to East Central, and me and twins and John all of us living together, Halo 2 was the only game that I ever went to a 12 o'clock
release or whatever
release date. Yeah, we went and we waited at the mall.
Oh my
God!
Y'all didn't camp out,
did you?
Go
to class next day. No, we didn't camp out. I had John Berger with me. I mean, we only camping out in deer hunting. So we went back and played it all day, and then it got so big there, we hooked up. And a lot of people who listen to this, if they did play Halos, they're probably during that time they're going to remember hooking up
LAN parties, yeah.
4 Xboxes, 4-player per Xbox. I mean, it was terrible. Screen watching, you always accused of screen watching, but
we did.
Everybody thought that's all I did was screen watch, which I did. I mean,
that's part of it.
About it. I mean, that's
some of my buddies in Jackson, we do that with Socom. But even though we were online, we do it with Socom, line up all the TVs and everything.
That was the fun. We used to go to baseball dorm and do it too. But Halo was you did have the option to play the American side, or I say this American, the soldier side, with the real guns, assault rifle, battle rifles, pistols. Shotgun. Shotgun was great on there. You get up close, you get that shot, you do get that one-shot kill.
Yeah.
But some of these other games are a little sloppy about that. But then you did have the crate. Then nothing like the charge rifle. Everybody got the charge rifle, and you get shot. Take your shield off. That gun takes your shield off immediately, and then one-shot kill you after that. That's pretty accurate.
Was it Halo 2 or 3 that introduced the lightning sword?
It was 2.
Yeah, I know it was on 2. I don't remember about.
I don't think
it wasn't on.
I don't think it was on 1.
I
think it was 2 because I think it was a strictly multiplayer thing.
But 2, you could just go across the whole map with that sword, right? If you
you could just hold it down.
Yeah, that's
that's what I'm talking about. Space
3, you couldn't do that. Well, they fixed that.
Yeah, but still,
they listen. Bungie used to listen to us, the people that played their games.
I didn't play the only space gun that really got you. I mean, the Needler, the Needler was a problem, but that charge pistol.
Yeah, see, that's the opposite now. The opposite now. I guess it was back then. People did use it, but it was you would run into it every so often on Halo 3 multiplayer. I mean, I won't say it was uncommon, and I won't say it was common, but it wasn't like, hey, if I run past that charge pistol, I can't remember what it's called, I'm picking it up. No, you just kind of went over it. Unless you had nothing, like, whatever, I'll pick it up and I'll use it.
I was always the human guns. That was always my favorite. I mean, the battle rifle was pretty much unbeatable. You could take a shield off quick and a quick headshot, they're done.
Yeah.
But I used to hunt down the people that had the stupid charge rifle. I hated them. I despised them. Anything take your shield off immediately besides a headshot.
That was my number one on the list of being killed. And I found them. But, yeah, so, hey, I went back and played Halo 3. I put it back in to go back and play it for this review. And, so again, that was my first experience with it. And I loved it. I bought a flat screen TV with HD, all for it, and started playing it. And then we got into multiplayer. Well, Halo 3 introduced a few other things. It introduced the gravity hammer, which was awesome. That was in Reach as well. It introduced the charge laser. I don't think that was in Reach. That wasn't in Reach, I don't think, which was so much fun. They had some new stickies that you could throw. It was like a spike sticky. It would hit and then shoot off a spike. Again, I don't think that was in Reach, because me and Rev played Reach all the time. And then but I went back and played Halo 3, and I looked up some old movies that you could record. That's one of the things. It's always recording, and you can. And even in those movies that I recorded as my point of view or whatever, it recorded the entire, say, it recorded 30 seconds. What's 30 seconds of that whole match? So you can get the camera and move it around. You can see where everybody was. I mean, dude, that is so much fun. And you can go back and look at your kills. If you died a certain way, you say, where did this grenade come from? Or where did this sticky hit me from? You can go back and look at the video and see it. And it's so easy to transition into. But the fun thing about this, and again, Reach did it too, Rev, so you can kind of comment on it, but the Warthogs and all the vehicles, they did really good with just the physics of the game. I mean, like you can have that gravity hammer. It's just this big hammer that comes straight down like a big maul or something. If somebody's driving a Warthog straight at you, they could have it loaded with folks, and you just pop out of nowhere and hit them with that gravity hammer. It'll send that Warthog across the stage. I mean, it's so much fun, man. I mean, that kind of stuff is just where it's at. Somebody have a Banshee flying around. I had a video where I hit up one of those man lifts, those energy lifts that slung you, and so you're in the air flying, and I threw that little equipment out, and it was an energy shield drain, and it just went flying through the air, a little ball glowing, and it went by that Banshee, and it just threw it out of the sky, and somebody was just flying around, and then it just lands. I mean, you can't do anything about it. There's so many different possibilities, and that's how you make a good multiplayer game. None of this Destiny crap where it's just 4v4 and you're shooting either a pulse rifle, a hand cannon, or a assault rifle, and you're just running with your group. I mean, there's no difference in any map as where Halo was different. Every single map for multiplayer, and that's what made that experience, because it's just a different experience every time. Yeah. And there's stuff you can talk about and laugh about, and it was 4v4, but oh my gosh, I wish they could. I mean, I don't even know if people. I'm sure there's still a server. I thought about getting back on Xbox Live just to play Halo 3 again. But I will say this about Halo 3 when I got on there, and we'll get a little bit more in depth with the campaign and stuff if you want.
We got the Master Chief Collection now that has Halo 3 on it, and that's on Xbox One, so you could definitely get back into it.
The controls, they're really good, and I used to think they were super good, and they are, but they're a lot tighter than Destiny. Bungie made Destiny and Halo, and Destiny they've perfected the controls. Destiny has the best shooter controls of any game I've ever played. That's undebatable. I don't see the ones that I've played anyway.
No, I definitely agree with you. Like, just seeing the evolution from Socom up to this one to Destiny 2, because even though Destiny 2 ruined their multiplayer by going the 4v4, trying to entertain the whole esports people. It's just the controls are so well. I mean, you hit your buttons, it happens, and it just feels right in the hand.
It does.
Nothing feels out of place, is what I'm trying to say. It doesn't feel like you're having to reach to hit a grenade. It's one of the shooters that I can actually play and never have to look down at my controller. I know that it's going to be there. I know everything. It just fits well.
I wonder, do you have this is kind of off topic a little bit, but the numbers for Destiny 1 in terms of who still plays it?
No, I don't.
Do you know who has a bigger fan? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if Destiny 1 has more players than Destiny 2 at this point.
I'll see if I can pull that up before the end of this podcast.
Because the Destiny 1 multiplayer, what the campaign is so weak in both of them. Destiny 1 with all the expansions, if you could find a Destiny 1 that has everything with it, it's worth getting. If people are still playing it, there's a lot to do.
Yeah, I mean, you can still play it. I still follow several groups out there that still try to look for people to help them do raids in Destiny 1. So I know it's still live, but you're not having all of the events that happen anymore and things like that. Yeah. So let's see.
But I would think the multiplayer on that one is 10 times better, and it's still a lot of fun. I used to enjoy that multiplayer. But anyway, while you're looking at that, I'll go back to this Halo 3 for a little bit. The Halo 3 introduced so one thing I really liked about it, you have all the different easy, normal, heroic, and legendary campaign, and you can, like, all three of us could get on Halo 3 and finish it on legendary, and we'd all get credit for finishing on legendary. They didn't care about, this one, you got to finish it solo to get credit for it. You could have fun and do it, and it was a lot of fun. But they had the Arbiter, one of the elites, playing as a friend of Master Chief, and that took a lot of static from a lot of the long-term Bungie and Destiny or Halo fans, because those are always the enemies. Did you ever play? Were you big on the campaign too, Rev, or just? I mean, I know you played multiplayer.
The campaign was, out of all the games I've ever played, that's the only campaign that I've ever probably completely finished multiple times. We played
really?
All the time. I mean, on the ones that we played it nonstop. I told you, man, we just sat around slapping each other for hours. But
so a lot of old school Destiny guys say that Destiny 2 is probably the best shooter. What do you think about that?
Me?
Yeah, like Destiny. Do you like Destiny 2 way better than Halo? Not Destiny 2, dude. I keep Halo 2. They say Halo 2 is the better of the Halo and Halo 2. Or any of the Halos. Halo 2, they say.
Halo 2 was my favorite ever. But like I said, I didn't play 3 a lot. I did play it, but I didn't like it over 2. But you got to remember, I probably spent, Halo 2 went online, so I spent a massive amount of time on Halo 2. So,
man,
I mean, that could have something to do with it. But campaign was, I beat it I don't know how many times.
I'd hate to see your killing ability at that time.
Back then, I could do some killing. But the controls, like you said, Destiny's may be better now, but back then, I thought Halo 2 was.
I'm sure they were solid.
The controls, of course, it's probably been different now, but I remember it was like headshots. You remember playing one of I guess it was Call of Duties, where I could still do that sniping headshots and stuff.
Yep.
All the time, but Halo 2, it was just full up headshot. It was full up headshot immediately. It didn't matter where they were. I could zoom in a headshot immediately. So I thought that it was pretty good controls at that point.
Is that in the Master Chief Collection, Halo 2? And you can play it online? I don't know. That's on. That was on Xbox One.
Yeah, the Master Chief Collection is Xbox One. That was released back in 2014.
Let's see.
I wish you could record. I wish they had recorded matches back then. But.
Yeah, that'd be. So this had Master Chief Collection. Yeah, Halo, Combat Evolved, Halo 2, Halo 3, and Halo 4. Wow. I bet Halo 2 got played, because everybody loves the Halo 2, just like you're saying. Like I said, I never played that one, but people that were Halo fans from the beginning, it's always Halo 2.
It was a whole different world into game, online.
Yeah.
Shooters like that, for me at least, and for everybody that was around me, it was like a whole new world. It was pretty great for that kind of shooter.
Well, your Halo, yeah, for y'all, Halo was like what SOCOM was for me in Hollywood, because me in Hollywood, we lived right. SOCOM 1 like crazy. I remember D4 and SOCOM 1 and 2, and running with that crew, and wasn't it D4?
Yep.
Yeah.
DEFCON 4, and then it was the Kingsmen. Then it was Real America.
I remember Real America.
That's when we ran out of people to play with. Had like 4 people in it. But
I probably wouldn't have survived on SOCOM just because of the downtime. And I
But
like
see, that's all we
Yeah.
knew,
move
you know.
and kill. Yeah, that's right. So when this was, I mean, literally, I died, I respawned, and then I was back shooting somebody. No matter if he's on my team or not.
Well, see, the reason I liked SOCOM, and we say it's a big strategy game, it was actually third person, but it was a shooter that, it's the first time we played online with somebody else, and it came out in like 2000. So, I mean, it was real early. I don't know when Halo 1, I don't think Xbox came out till 2000.
Halo 1 came out 2001. But we were
so that wasn't even online.
We were already deep into SOCOM at that point.
But you could spawn, right when the game starts, and you run to wherever you needed to go. And so you kind of had a choke points where you knew people were going to try to go to. But if you blasted past them quickly, you could kind of sneak up on them. And once you kill somebody, they're done. And so you just had to wait. The best, and there was the average when you logged into SOCOM 2, the average time was 5 minutes a round. And so the best ones, you could edit that down to 3 minutes, and that's what you wanted, somebody to build a room down to 3, because it's not going to be a whole lot of downtime. Because all the killing, usually somebody's hiding, and that's just annoying. But you could kind of strategize, like, I'm going to kill these people. Now I know there's only one guy out there. We can kind of figure this out, or where they're all going. And so it's the first team to win 6 rounds. So it could go 5 to 6, so you're doing 11 rounds, or 6 to 5, so you're 11 rounds. That's a long time. But it was fun because you got down to 3. Once you died, you could talk to all the dead people, so you're kind of planning out what you're going to do next, and it was a lot of fun. But anyway, it's definitely not. And they did have on SOCOM too.
So I say that we were deep. I got to make sure I fix this fact. I say that we were deep in SOCOM when Halo came out. I was incorrect on that. Actually, SOCOM came out after Halo. Halo came out 2001. SOCOM came out in 2002.
SOCOM came out in 2002.
Yeah, I was at Jones at the time, and you would have been at Southern.
I got at Southern in 2000. No, I was 2001. I was 20 when I turned 21 when I first got there. I thought it was right when I
August 27th of 2002.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there you go. But it was bad servers, so it was still the same thing. Starting off bad servers because you played 2 rounds and you get kicked, but it was so much fun. Whatever, you kept trying to do it. But SOCOM 2 was when it really set off. But anyway, we're not talking about SOCOM today. We're talking about Halo today. But anyway, so after Halo 3, they had a Halo ODST, and you played that one, Rev? ODST?
Nah, yeah, about like Halo 3. I just played it. I mean,
it was not.
No, not really.
Yeah,
I might have played it a few times with somebody else, but I didn't own it.
That one was not that good because you played a normal guy, and it's just tough to. You weren't a Master Chief. I don't even remember the online version of that really well, but I didn't even finish that campaign.
Yeah, before we jump too far there, I want to throw out some facts for it, just so everybody knows how popular Halo was and how much in the minority I am of hating on Halo. On Halo 3, it grossed $300 million in its first week. Yep. First week of going live. And now remember, this is also, too, back in the day when no microtransactions, no nothing. You buy the game, that's it. $300 million in its first week.
That is
more than
awesome.
more than 1 million people played Halo 3 on Xbox Live in the first 20 hours.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
To date, Halo 3 has sold in excess of 14.5 million copies, making it the 5th best-selling Xbox 360 game of all time, the best-selling Xbox 360 exclusive title, and the best-selling first-person shooter on the console outside of the Call of Duty games. The game was also the best-selling video game of 2007 in U.S. Overall, the game was very well received by critics, with the Forge and multiplayer offerings singled out as strong features. However, some reviewers criticized the single-player aspects, especially the plot and campaign layout.
So the single-player campaign, like I said, this is my first time. So I have no Halo background to speak of, but I enjoyed the campaign. And everybody complains about one of the last levels where you fight the Flood, which a friend of mine got there first and was telling me about it. And I was like, he said, yeah, I don't want to ruin it for you, but there's a level that just kind of doesn't really fit in. And I knew exactly what he was talking about when I got there. And that one does seem like it was thrown in. And that's why a lot of people, even the developers, said they didn't like it. And it's like, dude, then why is it in there? But they have to introduce the Flood because of whatever. Flood's just a bunch of, I don't even know what they are, a bunch of aliens.
The Flood was in 2, wasn't it?
Yeah, but they wanted to introduce it somehow in this one. But it's like the last or second to last stage, and you're playing, it's so much fun up to that point, and then it's just like, dude, what in the world? But the multiplayer was super sick, like I've already explained. But, I mean, I got up to level 4. So the way the ranking structure, we got to talk about this because this is a big deal, and I don't know why this is not in any other games, because the ranking system in this game was awesome. It went online. So let me try to explain this. So let's just say you get to lieutenant. So it would tell you what you needed to get to your next rank. So every time you complete a match, you get so much experience. It's like 1 or 2. So let's say you got the rank lieutenant, and then your next rank would be second lieutenant or lieutenant second grade. So you needed 100 XP or something like that. I'm just making these numbers up. So you get 100 XP, then you're second lieutenant second grade. So your next level, though, you either got 300 XP or something like how do I saw it? Or level 20, something like that. So performance level 20, we'll just say. So besides your name, it'll have a little number. If you win, that number goes up. After you win a 2 or 3, if you lose, it starts going down. That number would fluctuate with how good you performed. So to get your next rank from lieutenant second grade, you either had to get performance level 20 or 300 experience. Well, the difference is if you got to level 20, you would turn into a captain. If you got 300 experience, you would be lieutenant third grade. And you all knew if you saw a third grader, they're like, dude, this guy's not that good. But anyway, I got up to the highest you could get was 50, and I got up to 42, and I just did not like it anymore because I had to start, my team would lose. So we didn't have enough people to play, kind of like now we kind of play onesie twosies, but it's 4 people, 4v4, and my team loses, no matter how good I do, my performance rank goes down. So I've jumped over to Rumble, which is the free-for-all, and I got from level 22 to 41 in one night, just playing solo. And then it started getting dumb because people would start camping out. They would hide behind shields with shotguns and try to just kind of goad you in there, then jump out and shoot you and go back in there just to try to get their level up to get to that level 50. And so that just wasn't fun. I like to go kill, just like Rev. And then, so when people are hiding and just trying to, their sole purpose of playing is to get their rank up, it's just not fun anymore. And I'm not having any fun. So I just didn't really care about the rank at that point. And so also, by the way, for your rank, it would keep your rank at, the 3-star general or whatever, admiral, whatever they called it. But my performance level in free-for-all was 42, but if I switched over to team deathmatch with everybody else, it would go back to 22 or whatever, but I still keep my initial admiral rank or whatever. But I don't know why they don't do that. Now it's just, if you play, you rank up. There's no win or losing. We don't want to hurt everybody's feelings. We want everybody to be equal. And so you just separated the motive for people to do good.
Yep.
But they need to implement that again. That would be really cool. And I wish that Bungie, well, not now. The Bungie now is just not even anywhere near the Bungie that it used to be. But
none of the same people are even there anymore.
Yeah,
in Destiny 1, they almost basically canned almost everybody that was with the Halo Bungie.
Yeah, and they need to come up with a new group. Everybody that got fired from Bungie join forces and come up with a super developing team and come up with something else cool.
You should call it like Bungo or something, just to rip off the name of Bungie, just to make fun of them. There you go.
But anyway, that was cool. And then you mentioned the Forge, and that was a thing. You can create maps, and you can actually be having a death match amongst your peers or whatever, your friends, while they're creating stuff. But they had the incendiary grenades in there, and those were awesome. They weren't online because I think you could play a private match with them, but you couldn't. I don't know why. I guess it's just sometimes the processor. If you got 8 people throwing those incendiary grenades, it just wouldn't be able to keep up. Maybe.
Yeah.
But it looked really good.
I forgot about the glitches, man.
Oh, really?
I had more time to look up, man. We would spend hours and hours on Halo 2 with people on the internet doing glitches on the maps, like on the multiplayer maps and stuff.
They did have a lot of glitch. They did have a lot of glitches in Halo 3 in the multiplayer maps. So that was one of the big things that my brother was always talking about, was finding glitches and shooting people from inside the walls and stuff.
That was fun.
I don't remember Halo 3 having a lot, but I remember SOCOM having a lot. But sometimes out there's a little glitch in Nightfall on SOCOM that you could climb into the brick wall. Sometimes I would just go in there before and just wait for somebody else to glitch through it and blast them.
Yeah.
And then get out. We couldn't get out, but
everybody would glitch in SOCOM. So
I hated the
glitch. If you could glitch first, you usually could get drop on the other people that were glitching.
Yeah, I couldn't stand people that glitched, and they had that. I can't remember. I don't want to talk about it anymore because we're going to save a SOCOM one.
We got to have a SOCOM one. That's going to be awesome. That are popping up.
Yeah.
So.
But anyway, so cool. I thought Halo 3 was a really good game. Halo 4, they redid 343 Studios, bought the whole Halo franchise, and this is something stupid they did. They changed the sound of the guns. Why would you do that? Why would you change the sound of the guns? What does that bring? We played that one, Riff, for a little while, and they released online, and it's just stuff like this. They just kill franchises. I never even touched 5, but Halo 4, I played the campaign till, I don't know, 3 stages and then quit. Played online, and they released it with 3 maps. 3 online maps because they wanted you to buy all the other ones, and you just killed it for everybody.
Well, I mean, you got to look at it. What really killed Halo was when Bungie left to start developing Destiny.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
You got 343, and you got 343 that came in. When they came in, they totally destroyed the legacy of Halo. As much as I talk about that, as much as I will ever hate on Halo, I mean, the numbers don't lie. It was extremely popular, extremely, it's a good game from other people's aspects, not from mine, but it's got the.
Well, you're not hating on the game itself. You're just hating on you didn't like the experience. Like, I'm not into that.
I just hate all of it. I wouldn't take time right now to go back and play it. That's how much I don't like it. So
I think I made a few people hate Halo too.
You probably did make a few people hate Halo. But it's just one of those things where Halo, it for all intents and purposes, and being truthful, it was a great game. I mean, look at the stats, look at the numbers, look at what everybody has said about it. It's got high critical ratings. It's made money. I mean, come on, look, best game, one of the best games ever on 360.
Yeah, I went back and I bought the 360 for it, just like everybody bought Halo or the Xbox for Halo 1. But I bought it. Let me see. That's when it first came out for the next generation, and dude, I went back and played it today or a week ago or whatever for this podcast, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed playing it again. I didn't get through all of it. I got through some of the campaign and watched some of the videos from multiplayer, and that really kind of got the nostalgia going, and remembered a lot about that kind of stuff. But just the possibilities that could happen in multiplayer. I mean, I don't know why they would take that out of Destiny with vehicles and all that. In Destiny 1, they even had vehicles in some stages, and those were a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
And
the vehicles were fun.
Yeah, that's just
real fun. Especially with the team, like with me and you. If you grouped up, say you only had 2 people, you brought in 2 people, you go get on a Warthog or something, somebody's shooting. I mean, and the fun thing about it was, you did have your random guy that would pull out the rocket launcher and shoot.
It's funny though. It's
immediately.
Awesome.
But normally, if you'd get the war, if there's a battle going on, everybody's in this big war, and you see this one idiot running across a Warthog, right across out in the middle of everybody, everybody's like, really? And then all of a sudden, you'd go untouched, and here comes a Warthog coming over the hill. Somebody else has seen it. They're like, let's do this. And then you see them down there for like 10 minutes, drawing circles, shooting each other with a Gatling gun or whatever on the back.
They had on Halo 3, there was one stage called Valhalla, and it's supposed to be like the new Blood Gulch. But it had little 4-wheelers on it. And they serve no purpose but to get you across the map. There's no weapons on them or anything. But hey, guess what? If you got on one, I could jump on the back. And then we're just riding. I could shoot off the back. And I recorded one that I just happened to see. It was called, I said something like I guess I was trying to play on drive-by. It's kind of stupid, but I called the video stick-by because it was because I used to love those stickies, and I went back and looked at it, and this dude was just in the middle of Valhalla, just out in the middle shooting at somebody, just having fun playing, and all of a sudden this four-wheeler, and I'm on the back of it, just going full speed right up to that dude. And like it looked like I just took my hand out and stuck it on his back, boop, right when he passed by. We ramped. It just looked so good. And then boom, he blows up, and we just keep riding. I mean, that's the stuff I'm talking about, man. That's just what it's about. All this Major League Gaming is arguably kind of destroyed multiplayer to some degree.
It has, because it's game developers want to make these games that the Major League gamers want to play. So they make it to a point to where the casuals like us that want to have fun and do silly stuff like that, fun. I mean, take Destiny 2 just recently, for example, when they had what was quoted the weekend of laser tag with the Prometheus lens. The gun was broken, and they said, you know what, we're not going to fix it right now. We're going to let y'all have fun and have a weekend of just being cool. Stupid. Well, it was really neat because the gun is basically a solar version of Cold Heart.
Yeah.
And so... it shipped with a bug. It was broken to where, if you basically, it was like as soon as you hit the person with the laser beam, they were dead. It was like literally laser tag auto dead. It was really crazy because I jumped in the weekend, and a couple people were like, oh, well, that gun's there. Only a few people are going to have it. Xur won't sell it. And what did Bungie do? They made Xur sell the gun. And so everybody was able to buy it, and the entire weekend in PvP and Crucible was nothing but laser tag. They even let Trials of the Nine happen like that, and it was laser tag trials. That's basically what they called it. And it was just, it was basically who can tag the person first with lasers. So, I mean, they still do fun things like that, and they still let ridiculous stuff go on, just like the Nova Bomb. The unlimited Nova Bomb that's going on right now in Destiny 2 and the Dawning, if you play the Mayhem board. The Mayhem, well, not board, just the Mayhem setting. So they still do a little fun like that, but it's not intended.
Well, the Major League gamers, like we were talking about, they do make everything competitive because I guess they figure if we can get it on Major League Gaming, everybody's going to want to play it, and so that'll be the game. If you're not a good multiplayer killer if you can't play game X, if you can't compete in game X or whatever. And so one of the things that sticks out of my head is the COD World War II that's out. Yeah. The quick sniping that we talked about, or me and Rev talk about all the time, you pull up the scope really fast and then drop it while you're shooting before it even zooms in on the guy, and it's literally like a glitch in the game where it's kind of auto target. You're taking advantage of the auto target, so it always shoots right at the guy, and you can get a kill if you time it just right. So people practice this, and that's their thing. I'm a quick sniper, and they leave it in every game on purpose because that's what quick snipers. And that's all. You could even say, okay, I'll even give you that, but the same quick snipers will then turn around and complain about a shotgun being too powerful. A shotgun kills me with one shot. It's like, well, yeah, but you got to be 10 feet in front of them. You can one-shot everybody with a sniper rifle anywhere on the map. They don't care if they're from across the map or right in front of you. They can quick snipe you. Boom, you're dead. Mm-hmm. And so, again, they listen to the... I ran around with shotgun today, and I was getting X's all over. I couldn't get a kill because I was getting X's. I mean, I got kills, obviously, but stuff that should have killed the guy, it would give you an X. And then you die. And it's like, that's to appease... Those people that can quick snipe their Major League Gaming and all that, they're going to quick snipe. I guarantee you.
Well, the problem is you're not going to see it. You're not going to see it in Destiny anymore because Destiny snipers are now considered powered weapons. All you see now in Destiny 2 is team shot. That's the big thing now is team shot. How can we make a game team shot? That's what I like. This is what's attracting me to make me even think about buying an Xbox One right now is PUBG, if y'all have heard about it. It's PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. Awesome. Looks so much fun and just like stupid fun. Like what Rev was talking about, getting on the Warthogs and just driving around doing something stupid. I mean, they have that in this game. You can get 4 people in a car, have the 3 people that are in the passenger seats hanging out the windows shooting, and then wreck the car, and the driver kills everybody else in the car except for himself and gets up and walks off, and it's just everybody's dying out laughing. It's hilarious. It's got crazy stuff in there like that. You can use a boat to kill people. I mean, you can run people over with a boat. It was hilarious when I saw that.
Do you know if it's coming to PS4?
I haven't heard.
Eric told me it was. Well, Eric told me it was. Now I don't know what you put stock in that or not.
PUBG.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't heard if it's coming or not. So if you've got somebody that's saying it is, then great. I want to see it come to PS4 because if it does, then bye Destiny. I'm playing PUBG. I mean, that
Eric
thing
knows
just
about
looks
video
crazy.
games pretty
It
good. He's pretty
looks crazy stupid.
Yeah, I mean, I just
So
he also told me he's selling a box of fish for $600 the other day. So.
yeah, I don't trust a man that sells that box of fish for $600.
That's some dirty fish right there.
You need to. But anyway, man, that's funny. But yeah, that definitely looks like a fun game. I saw the advertisements for it, and it's just free. It's just Hunger Games for the
yeah, pretty much.
So, but cool. So that's pretty much all I got to say about Destiny. See, that's what I'm saying. It's always Halo, Destiny, and I do equate them to the same thing because it's Bungie.
They are. I mean, they're the same. Basically, Destiny is the evolution of Halo. It's where they went
de-evolution,
next with
really.
It. Oops, yeah. I mean, you could say that. You could say that with how critically acclaimed Halo's series was.
But you got anything, Rev, about Halo? Anything more? Yeah. Anything else?
Oh, I mean, I can talk about Halo.
Well, I can tell in your voice, man. All that killing's kind of made you kind of stoic. You can see it in his eyes.
Emotion in it.
You don't have any
take a man out. I just got to take him out.
That's right.
But man, I don't know. We had a lot of fun with it. But I did. You bring up the glitches. I kind of watched a little video on that. That was fun. But it was a whole different game to me than what we played. You know, Call of Duty. You see, I like Call of Duty, and we played some good Call of Duties. I mean, Black Ops 2, all that. But Halo's one of them. It's always at the top of my list. It was really a fun game to play with everybody. But it may have been that it was during a time where I was with everybody playing games opposed to just being at home. But
well, I mean, I was Halo 3. I mean, I'll tell you right now, if they had Halo 3 is coming to PS4 and it's going to be revamped and everybody was going to be playing it, I'd be on there, man. I mean, so I think there's a little bit of that to that. Because I was at home playing that. I had buddies that played it, but I loved it. And we played Reach like that too, and I consider Reach a pretty good one in terms of
and the newer ones we always took it to a whole nother level. You know, like you said, with the stickies and the shotgun.
Yeah.
I mean, that wasn't the way to play. That's not how you play this game. And we went outside. It's kind of like the tomahawk on Black Ops that you don't touch it.
Yeah.
You know, that's what everybody.
Major League, the quick snipers hate throwing knives. They can't. You can throw a knife, and they might quick snipe you. They gonna get got if you're good enough with it.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be nerfed next.
Yep.
They're gonna lower down that target box for that if they hadn't already.
I mean, who would think? I mean, having I don't know, but on Halo with the stickies, that's something that we spend hours. The videos, like you said, they don't do that anymore. It hurts people's feelings. It's kind of like that participation trophy you were talking about earlier. But I mean, just seeing that just popping out. You got those gamers, just the Major League Gaming. You go up against a guy, they're all clan, they're all level 50 or whatever, and then all of a sudden you just hear across that stage that.
Well, just to prove that point, like you were saying, me and you one time, it's just me and you, and it's a team of 4, so I don't know who else was on our team. Maybe everybody quit. And just to prove the point, it's 4 other people on the opposite team, and so me and Drew were just like, no matter what we're going to do, it's just stick. And we were throwing stickies, the blue stickies, constantly, and doing like miraculous throws across the stage and hitting people and everything. And so once the game is over, you can talk to the other team, and this team just lit into us. All y'all do is sticky. Y'all can't play normal, blah, blah, because they don't, Major League Gamers, they want to get you need to get the headshot. You need to get the 3-shot burst, headshot, or come up with some kind of strategy. That's sticky. There ain't no strategy. If you get good at that, that's all you got to do.
Skill is what it is, and it's embarrassing.
Yeah.
Because it's one thing to throw up an assault rifle and for me to take your shield down or shoot you with a shotgun, when you come up, or a sniper rifle. But, I mean, to aim a sticky, just to watch the
arch and everything.
Great blue ball of glory fall, just flying across and just stick. They can't even see out their mask. It's all blue. I mean, immediately it's like this big blue fuzz light on their whole mask, and that's all they see. They don't tell them what they say on the other side, but
It really is skill. When you think because it's got an arch to it. You got to learn the arch. You got to be able to judge if somebody's higher or lower than you, how you're going to throw it, and it takes time to get there, so you can see it coming. It's not like a bullet. And so that's the same way with the tomahawk and everything. And they, so that's what makes it so fun. And I mean, honestly, I was playing it today, and my son was watching Mario Maker or something, and he was probably like, "What are you doing?" Because I was dying out laughing the whole game, man. I was just getting wild. I loved it.
But it was embarrassing enough that if you catch two of them together and you stuck one, the one that got stuck would run off without saying anything. Kind of try to get around the corner so that the other one didn't see. When he turned around and ran, he got this big blue ball stuck to the back of his head.
Yeah, and then it sticks to you, and it stuck to you, and you're going to die, but it gives you that half a second or 2.5 seconds.
You got to think about it.
Yeah,
you're like,
man,
what's fixing to happen here? I'm going to lose my life.
It gives you that time just to get mad.
And then you run out and you kill your entire team because you ran in the middle of them.
Oh,
and they
man.
all blow up, so everybody's furious. I mean, it's just nothing like it.
Yeah, they need to bring that back. That was fun. But but anyway, guys, I think that'll probably do it for the Halo in this podcast. But we want to give you guys a little sneak peek in the next week. We're going to do a top. I think me and Clear agreed to do a top games for 2017 that we have played this year, what games that we've been playing. And that's just for the 2017 year, not for games that necessarily came out in 2017, just whatever we've been playing this year. And certainly a lot of them have.
Yeah, our top 10 games that we played for 2017. So they could have came out any time, but it's just what we've played, because I know I've played stuff that I didn't get to play earlier, and so
so that's going to be a lot of fun. It'll be after Christmas, but anyway, so this will be the last one before Christmas, so just Merry Christmas to everybody. Just Rev, thanks for joining us, and then we will catch you guys later.
Yeah,
appreciate y'all having.
Thank you for joining us, man.
Alrighty.
All right, take it easy, guys.